Hey, what's up, y'all? Back at it once again. A Coach Skip Fun Day, kicking it for you and for yours. And before I get started, as always, I give a shout out to my ancestors for giving me the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And I can give a shout out to y'all for being, looking, subscribing, giving me the feedback, things of that nature. Much love to y'all for doing that, and having the channel grow. Now, this right here comes from the Washington Post, and it says economic policies. African Americans are the only racial group in the U.S. making less than they did in 2000. Well, we're going to check this article out. African Americans are the only racial group in the U.S. still making less than they did in 2000. This came out September 15, 2017. African Americans were worse off financially in 2016 than they were in 2000. The median income for African American household was $39,490. Last year, according to the Census Data Bureau, released this week, it was $41,363 in 2000. Both figures are in 2016 dollars, so they have been adjusted for inflation. African Americans are the only racial group the Census Bureau identifies that has been left behind. Whites, Asians, and Hispanic households have all seen least modest income gains since 2000. The uptick in income for so many African Americans have lifted the overall median U.S. income to $59,039 last year, the highest level ever recorded by the Census Bureau. That figure surpassed the previous record set in 1999, the last period of strong economic growth. Median household income means half of U.S. households earn more and earn half less. It's an important indicator of the health of the middle class. But the overall trends mask the fact that African Americans, as a group, has not recovered. Matter of fact, it shows us in the negative. Negative 1800. Black Americans have struggled for years to move up the economic ladder. They have a harder time finding jobs. Merely having an African American sounding name makes an employer less likely to hire someone. A National Bureau of Economic Research study found. The black unemployment rate is nearly double the white unemployment rate. It has been that way since the Labor Department began keeping track of unemployment by race in the early 1970s. Black Americans also receive substantially lower wages than Asians and whites. Character, talent, and insights are evident for individuals of all income classes. But not all individuals get an equal chance to prove their mettle, said Mary Coleman, Senior Vice President of Economic Mobility Pathways, a Boston-based nonprofit group. The census data also shows that 1 in 4 black households live in poverty. The poverty rate among African Americans is 22%. It's more than double the poverty rate among whites. African Americans have the lowest earning of any racial group by far. While median household income for African Americans is just over $39,000 last year, it was over $47,000 for Hispanics, and over $65,000 for whites, and over $81,000 for Asian American households. Lower income makes it harder to get by, let alone get ahead. African Americans are much less than whites to own homes, to invest in stock market, in part because low wages lead to limited extra income to save for their own down payment. African Americans are also more likely to lack health insurance. The census released data this week showing that the uninsured rate for the nation overall was 8.8%, an all-time low. But it was 10.5% for African Americans. Many books and research papers have divulged why African Americans continue to struggle financially. William Rogers, chief economist at the Heinrich Center for Workforce Development at Rutgers University, is one of the scholars who has studied the issue extensively. He co-authored a report last year for the left-leaning Economic Policy Institute that found that black-white pay gaps are larger today than they were in 1979. The study noted that even when African Americans attend college and work actively to expand their skills and networks, they still earn far less than their whites with similar educational background. In fact, the wage gap is expanded to most between college-educated blacks and whites. In conclusion, after years of looking at the data and trends, wage gaps are growing primarily because of discrimination, said Rogers. A small silver lining in the latest census data is African Americans' incomes grew nearly 6% last year, the most of any racial group. But it is not moving quickly enough to do much to close the vast income gap between African Americans and other racial groups. And there you have it. This comes from the Washington Post. Another reason, too, why these racial groups is ahead of us and making more money than us because they don't go look for jobs. The man said right here that jobs, discrimination and stuff like that. So what they do, the other groups rely on their culture and create their own businesses. You know what I'm saying? And that's what they're doing. That's why they ahead like that. Let's see. The African American made over $39,000 last year. Okay, you made close to 40. You know what I'm saying? But the Hispanics make 8,000 more. You know what I'm saying? At 47 for Hispanics. The whites damn near double that at 65,000. And the Asian double that, 81,000. And the reason why the Asian community is one of the richest and wealthy communities because they have their own businesses. They go through checks and stuff. I got a video on that on this page. They got their own stuff and they circulate their money. They make their money bounce off each other. You understand me? The Hispanics are starting to do that now too. The only one group that's not doing that, that's being left behind and still caring about votes from some certain party to be brought off from, is the African Americans. And that's really, really sad, you know what I'm saying? Because the leadership, you got all these black politicians, but they still can't do nothing for you. That should tell you something right there. The vote is good, but yes, the vote is a shield. You need that economic sword to knock stuff down. To go hand in hand. You know what I'm saying? And they got us on a policy, and you got a group that got us on a policy of non-economic liberalism. That's been holding us back for over 100 years. And that's what happened. That's how we get down. That's how we behind. The Urban League should be all on this, right? What you don't see is nowhere to be found. Where the Black Chamber of Commerce at? It's like these groups exist for nothingness. Anyway, I'm Iskosi of Funday, spending for you and for yours. Subscribe to the channel, donate to the movement. Hey, much love to you and yours.